In this video, we'll be covering the categorization of strings. So for example, when we have things like acute viral hepatitis B and acute viral hepatitis C, we want to group them into the disease type, for example, of hepatitis. To do so, let's first begin by creating a new chain called exercise 3, string categorization. And as usual, we will first begin by creating a chain call so that we can preserve our work from the previous video. So we'll do chain call on exercise number 2, and this way we will retain the same output. So to start off, let's look at string contains as the first step. So string contains allows you to search for a particular string in a given field and return you a Boolean output when a match has been found. So we'll perform it on the field called disease and contains the word hepatitis, okay, with the output being in result hep. So the string contains step will look for this particular string with uppercase H, hepatitis, in the field disease, and then the resulting Boolean output of true or false will be stored in result hep. So if we run this step, you will notice that yes, viral hepatitis A and E returns the Boolean true. However, acute viral hepatitis returns the Boolean false. The reason for this is because in our string contains, we use an uppercase H. However, acute viral hepatitis has a lowercase h, so there is no match. So do note that this particular step is case sensitive, and because this is a discrepancy from the dataset's API itself, we will need to fix it. So to fix this, we have a couple of options, namely they are in the string category. So we have 3 options to use. The first 2 will be the safer option, which is string lower, converting all characters in a given field to lowercase, or string upper, which converts them all to an uppercase. However, for the purpose of this tutorial, we'll use string capitalized words, which is a less safe option but provides us an output that looks a little bit neater. So if we add this string capitalized words on the field called disease. So this function capitalizes the first character in every word. So running it as so will show me that yes, viral hepatitis A and acute viral hepatitis B now both start with an uppercase H. However, do note that as previously mentioned, this is a less safe option for making your data consistent. If you look at salmonellosis, the word non-enteric is not properly capitalized because the string capitalized words do not define anything that precedes with a bracket as a word by itself. So if we want to see how the step defines a word, we can go into the information panel and scroll down into the notes, and you can actually see how the words are defined and split. So press save. Okay, so now it should work as intended. Do note that your string capitalized word must precede string contains, otherwise the capitalization will come only after contains, which is too late if you want to do your match. So now if I run it, you will note that the acute viral hepatitis and viral hepatitis are both falling under the true category. Okay, so just for an example, we're going to do 2 more string contains. So I'll just paste the string contains so that I don't have to look for them in the add step, and just merely change the contains to let's do it on dengue. Okay, so we'll look for the word dengue and then classify them, because there is 2 types of dengue diseases, namely dengue fever and dengue haemorrhagic fever. So result dengue. Okay, next we want to do it on, let's say, hand, foot, mouth disease, because those have more cases. Output is HFMD. Okay, so over here, if we run this, you'll note that now we have 3 fields of booleans. We then want to add another step. We then want to add in the OR operator, OR. So this OR operator allows us to check whether or not any Boolean field is a true. So the input field will be result hep, result dengue, result HFMD. The output will leave it as default. So if I run this, it will return me true so long as one of the 3 original Boolean fields have a true. So in this case, you see viral hepatitis returns an output of true because there is a true in the first column. And if you look at dengue in the second column for the Booleans, there's a true, hence the output returns true. And finally, for hand, foot, mouth diseases, it also returns true because one of the fields are true. Okay, so the next step is how do we come up with this disease type field? Okay, we'll do that by creating a new chain called exercise 3 dengue. Okay, so here we just want to create a JSON record. Okay, open double quotes, disease type. Okay, then we close double quote, and then here we'll just, because it's in dengue, we'll just put the word dengue. So once done, you also need to change the merge order to this overrides upstream. Okay, and then when you run it, you'll see that it will return you one singular field called disease type dengue. So we'll go ahead and duplicate this a few more times. Okay, we'll do 4 of it because we have 3 disease categories and we'll want to have the last one for other. So exercise 3, then we have hand, foot, mouth disease, and then we have others, and we have hepatitis. Okay, so we'll just change the JSON record to follow. Save. Right, change the same for hepatitis. And finally for others. Okay, so once we are done, we will then need to add in this disease type. Okay, how we do that is we'll use the chain if function. So if you search chain under structure, we have a couple of types. We'll be using the chain if function. So we have 4 booleans, so we'll need 4 of these chain ifs. Okay, do note that this is not exactly the correct way of how you want to do your ad hoc classification. There may be better ways, but for the early stage of this tutorial, this is one of the simplest way you can do it in an ad hoc manner. So in chain if, we'll do the first one being result dengue. So if true, we'll want it to go through the exercise 3 chain. Okay, so just to show you an example first. So if I run chain if, you'll see that dengue fever now has the disease type dengue. Okay, and any other records you come across that has the word dengue will have the disease type dengue. So we'll go ahead and add the rest. So for example, we have result hep. Okay, so if result hep boolean is true, let's divert it to this chain called hepatitis. And then if result HFMD is true, we want to divert it to HFMD chain. And lastly, for output, okay, we want to change this to false, because if you recall, so long as one of the booleans from the original tree returns a true, output will return you true. So if you want to classify everything else that does not have a classification, we'll want to look for the false boolean and then divert it to others. So now if we run all these steps in totality, you will see the disease type classification accordingly. So most of them, of course, will be other. Okay, so this is the end of the ad hoc classification tutorial. In the next video, we'll cover using a reference list to generate these disease type classifications.